I know a lot of people are in the same shoes. Nigerian banks, you need to be more responsible and more accountable. It is very sad or unfortunate. At the end of every year, banks will declare dividends, half of which is deducted from helpless customers like me. Monthly charges, even when you don't have an ATM card, they will deduct charges on an ATM card from your account, which you never have. My accounts have been deducted, FCMB have deducted incredible amount of money from my account for ATM cards that I don't have. Likewise, Jais. I use only one bank debit card, which is GT. But all the banks are complicit in this incessant, unnecessary and irrelevant deductions day in, day out. And then you will do a transaction that never gets successful and you'll never get refunded. Why? What did we do to deserve this, for God's sake, Nigerian banks? And unfortunately, the CBN is not checkmating these practices. I know I am not the first and only person to have this complaint, and I know that there are people who have taken the bold steps of complaining to the relevant authorities, which is the regulatory authorities, CBN and supposedly NDIC. But unfortunately, I don't think anything is being done about this because the situation continues to remain the same. Now, let me tell you a personal story. This is not someone else's story. This is my personal story. When I was a student in the UK, 2 years ago, I fell prey to a fraudulent investment scheme. I actually paid money for an investment, and it took me about 3 months before I found out that the investment was a fraud. The money was substantial, even according to UK standards. It was a substantial amount of money. It was supposed to be money that I would have used for my tuition fees. But because I didn't have it anymore, there was nothing I could do. When I reported to the bank, it was a lot of money, and it was an investment I made voluntarily by myself, but it turned out to be a scam. And banks are mandated by law to ensure that their customers are covered, even if the scam was unconsciously walked into like I did. That bank retrieved my money. And they paid me back my money. That is the most noblest and kindest thing any organized institution has ever done that I know of to someone else, much less me. Until the day I die, I will always respect this bank and the UK government, because if the UK government did not establish this law and ensure it works, this bank probably will not have boarded. But the laws are there and the banks have to comply, which they did. So now I keep wondering, what is the problem? Where is the gap? Is it the government or is it the private institutions? I don't know what the problem is. Whatever the problem is, we need to understand that there is a problem that needs solving. Nigerian private institutions, Nigerian financial institutions are ripping Nigerians off. Nigerian government need to do something about it. If Nigerian government already have these policies and regulations to ensure that Nigerians do not get ripped off, then it is lacking in implementation. There's apparently a gap. Something needs to be done because it is very unfair. We all know how hard this country is. We all know how hard Nigerians work. We all know how the economy is suffering and suffocating everyone. It is so unfair for people to work hard, get their money, or even get friends and family to support them for something they need to do, which they had no capability to do at that moment, only for internet fraudsters to just wipe it off like that, and then the bank will refuse to take responsibility. For goodness sake, who does that? If If we intend to make this country work, we need to begin to take responsibility for our own actions, and not only individually but also publicly and in the workspace and in financial private spaces like the banking sectors. GT Bank, I still am expecting you to pay me back my money, and I hope this video gets to GT Bank. Please and please, if you have been a victim of such situations, of a bank fraud that never got addressed or a failed transaction that never got reversed, please reach out to me and share your story. Let us amplify this message until the right thing is done. Let us make noise until those who are responsible hear our cries and ensure that justice is done. If we entrust our resources to your bank for safekeeping, you need to ensure that it is safe. If anything happens to it, it's not our responsibility. It is your responsibility, and you have to take responsibility. If we do a transaction that was unsuccessful, it is your responsibility to make sure that it is reversed. And if it is not reversed, it has to, whatever happens. GT Bank, I cannot remember the number of times I've done transactions between 2,000 to 5,000 naira that have not been reversed, and I'm not joking. This is not fair. Please share this video, and if you are not subscribed, kindly do so that we may continue to talk about issues like this that affects each and every one of us, regardless of who is involved. Thank you very much for coming to today's discussion, which is actually a rant, and listening through. Do remember to hit the subscribe button, and do remember also to hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any more updates. Don't forget, your viewership and your followership is the reason why we're here. If you don't view, you don't follow, then we're not going to be talking anymore. So to keep us talking and to keep us ranting, kindly subscribe, follow, and share. You are the real MVPs, and it is a new year. Even though I always say that it isn't only going to be a new year where you are going to have new goals, aspire for greater things, or try to be a better person. For me, it is an everyday thing, and I hope you're going to make it an everyday thing as well. Take care, bye bye, and see you next week.